sitting here getting my fat bitch on. And this message right here is from Andrea. And she is the originator of the "Does anyone care about Nebraska?" question. Now, I actually answered that, and I basically said, no, they don't. The rest of the country really doesn't notice that we're here, unless there's some major disaster. But no, they don't. But so I asked her if she was a native Nebraskan because I thought it was kind of an odd question. She said she is. She's born and raised here. She's 32. She likes to make content about places and small business. And so that was on her mind. And I guess you didn't realize it was a very loaded political question. I think the better question is, do Nebraskans care about Nebraska? And quite honestly, from the last election, the answer would be no. Let me show you something. So this is Nebraska's presidential voting history back to 1872. The little blue line there is the one electoral vote for Kamala. Then we have one electoral vote for Biden. Then I think the next one is the first term of Obama. And then 1968, we went for Johnson. And then all the way back to FDR, and then there was Wilson, Bryant, and I believe 1896 that was also Bryant. But so we are pretty stubbornly Republican. It takes like a world war or the death of a president for us to change our minds. This one shows kind of the breakdown of percentages. We're pretty much staunchly red. Why I ask, do Nebraskans really care about Nebraska, is because of those voting histories, but also we talked and begged people to go and look at what Project 2025 had in it. And we were met with the red wall of fake news. He's not going to do it. He doesn't endorse it. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, if you look at it, it spells out in there that he wants to reduce ARC and PRC, the agricultural risk coverage and price loss coverage. And he wants to eliminate subsidies for farm crop loss. And he was not shy about talking about deporting undocumented people. The cattle industry in Nebraska relies on undocumented labor. 60 to 65% of the meatpacking industry and ranching in Nebraska relies on undocumented labor. You cannot scream that we need to seal the borders and at the same time be that company hiring undocumented people. Because if you're hiring them with the fake green cards or whatever they've got, you are sending a message that you can come here and get a job. So you're actually encouraging undocumented people to try and get to Nebraska, which makes no sense. And now that they're being deported, there's no one who's going to work in those industries. I mean, unless you really do want to have your teenagers go into the meatpacking industry. They used to do that in South Omaha. I had teachers that had worked in the meatpacking industry. It was brutally hard. Upton Sinclair's The Jungle is a very good representation of what it was like. I think everyone in Nebraska should read it. So again, based on our voting history and the absolute refusal to acknowledge that Project 2025 existed or was going to be put into action, which it already is, and the hiring of undocumented labor, which encourages more undocumented people to come, and then screaming that you need to deport people, that makes no sense. Do Nebraskans actually care about Nebraska? Because it really doesn't seem like they do. Now they're just going to cry that they're going bankrupt. Well, maybe Humpty Dumpty McAss Crack, the Tangerine Donkey Vagina, will give you a subsidy or bailout or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll have Farm Aid again. I have no idea. Because they voted this in. It's their mess. We tried to get people to see the light, and they wouldn't. So that the rest of the country is saying, nope, we don't care about Nebraska? I'm not surprised. Because it doesn't seem like Nebraskans care about Nebraska at all.